I am the wrong hero. Alleged in his own mind. That's what they say about me, the wrong hero. And this is my show. My show, do you hear? Mine. So don't try to get up here while I'm here, okay? Do you understand? It's my show. Mine. I'm the wrong hero. Alcoholic. Drug addict. Easy guy to shop for around Christmas. You know? Pound of heroin, big old bottle of vodka. Solid, Jim. When I'm on, I'm a great satirist. When I suck, I'm a performance artist. Far too intellectual for mere worldlings such as yourself to comprehend. See, I have it both ways. I invented, I should tell you something. Some of you might recognize me. I invented a car that runs on blood sugar. Of course, you might not recognize me because I lost 200 pounds on the drive from Albany. Good thing I picked up that hitchhiker, huh? Started out as Oprah Winfrey, ended up as Karen Carpenter. Woo! It's yesterday once more. As a comedian, my job is to make people laugh, but I have higher aspirations. Aspirations far higher than merely strutting and fretting my hour upon the stage. Far greater aspirations than being a mere clown whose sole purpose in life is to tickle the sores of a fickle mob. No, my aspirations are far higher than that. My highest aspirations are to leave little cappuccino farts on David Letterman's sofa. That's what I'm working for. If you guys can help me in any way, please, write your congressman. How's come the wrong hero isn't on Letterman? Oh, I can't do anything about that. That's up to Dave. Now, come on, you can twist his arm. Give him a fucking $5 million traffic ticket. That'll change his mind mighty quick. Yeah. Well, there's this preacher down south. He's carrying these big signs that say, God hates homosexuals. Well, what he doesn't tell you is, yeah, God hates homosexuals, but Jesus thinks some of them are kind of cute. Especially the ones that wear the little crucifixes and the little hanky sticking out of their pockets, you know? Yes. You always see these preachers on television, and they're always saying, you must send that money! So, Jesus can fight Satan! Fight Satan! But you never see Satanists on television saying, we must have money. Lucifer is Lord to fight God. Lucifer to fight God. You know, we must fight him in the streets, fight him in the alleyways, fight him on the seas, fight him in the air. We must fight that God. Lucifer is Lord. You know, you never see that. Equal access, you know what I'm saying? And now, Tom Jones singing his hit, Lucifer, Lucifer, I'm in love with you. What's new, Lucifer? No, you're not going to see that anytime soon. Unless the Democrats win re-election in the congressional elections. Then maybe. And now my Sid Vicious impression. And now the time is near, and so I face the final curtain. You can't, I'm not a queer, of that I'm certain. I think I'll leave that one out, okay? I'm working on a children's book. It's called Winnie the Shit. Can't find a publisher though. Don't know what it is with those people. Oh, and now for the first time on any stage, the Wrong Heroes Home Shopping Network. Hello, Darlene? Oh, you live in bumfuck Georgia. You want to buy this cubic zirconium, huh? You fool! Don't you know cubic zirconium is worthless? It costs us 18 cents to make it, and we spend $15,000 on advertising it, and suckers like you who live in trailer parks, whose husband's best friends are Jim Beam and Jack Daniels, who have 15 kids at the age of 23, and suckers like you, and we make our money off the backs of. Why don't you go to New York City and work in the garment district for $1.50 an hour, and after 18 hours of back-breaking labor, during which time you were forced to endure cotton dust, machine oil, and people jibber-jabbering in Cantonese, you can sink exhausted on your cot and thank your Lord you're alive to face another miserable, hellish day. But I really want the cubic zirconium. Well, I'm telling you right now, if you buy that cubic zirconium, I will lose all respect for you. I hate you. You're no friend of mine. No, wait a minute. Hold it. Don't cry. I'll give you the zirconium. Don't cry. Listen, I got a number you can call. It's the Wrong Hero Suicide Helpline, 1-800-GO-NUTTY. Yeah, it's only 60 cents a second. So give us a call. Yeah, thanks. Hello, Wrong Hero Suicide Helpline. Yes, I'm here to talk to you as long as you like. No, tell me anything at all. No, that's all right. Fine, I'm here for you. 24 hours a day. Just stay on the line now. Stay on the line. That's very good. Bye now. Well, yes. I'm working on some greeting cards, but they're not your Hallmark things like, so your baby has diaper rash. My condolences. You know, no, it's nothing like that. These are like greeting cards for real life situations. Like, dear coworker, why don't you cut off your ponytail? It's beginning to attract flies. Or, dear roommate, for the third time this week, you left mushroom soup in the stove burners. I hate you! I hate you! Or, dear tenant, please remove that dead goat you sacrificed to Lucifer from my basement. Or, dear mom and dad, repay the money you owe and I won't press charges. Love, your son. Yes. Well, I'd like you to know that the Wrong Hero this week has been brought to you by the Placebo family of medications. Placebo Light, Placebo Extra Light, Placebo Mild, Placebo Red, Placebo Regular, and Placebo Extra Strength. Twice as many inactive and inert ingredients as other placebos. And by recombinant DNA. Recombinant DNA. We bring things to life. And by the Taoist Chemical Corporation. We never pollute the same river twice. The Taoist Chemical Corporation. Now here's something else I've noticed. The older you get, the more you realize that when people call you sir, what they're really saying is fatso. Really? Yes, sir. You know, can I see your license and registration? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. You know, it's like too fatso with love. You know, fatso, yes, fatso. You know, just remember that. Sir means fatso. And you can use the word sir for any situation whatsoever. Like, why are your teeth green, sir? Yeah, and it works. It works. It really, really works. Here's another thing that works. You know, when I'm caught committing a traffic offense on the highway, I like to play a little game with the policeman. It's called Nice Victim, Mean Victim. It's like, can I see your license and registration? Top of the morning to you, officer. Sure, and what's a police captain like you doing a pound on the beat? Well, here's me license and registration for you, officer. Do you realize you were doing 78 miles an hour in reverse? Well, that's because I was pretending the accelerator was a policeman's head because I was sucking on a cube of LSD and I wanted to get home before I melted. Officer Coffee and Donuts sitting and picking your ass in a Dunkin' Donuts at 4 in the morning. Sir. And he said, okay, we'll let it go this time. see it doesn't happen again. I got these job interviews, and you know, I can answer almost any question with some like total, you know, stumbling and stuttering bullshit rap. Any question at all except the big one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? But I think I finally come up with an answer to that. When they ask you on the interview, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I say, I'll tell you where I see myself in 5 years, bub. I see me in a stretch limo with Al Cowlings as my chauffeur, drinking from a bottle of Courvoisier, a foxy whore on either arm, my fists dripping with fuck you money, and you standing on a street corner, drinking from a bottle of Old Spice, passing out watchtowers, furtively giggling, shaking your fist, yelling at me, you fucking monkey, as I leave you in a cloud of my dust. That's where I see myself in 5 years. And they say, well, we were going to consider you for an entry-level position, but we think you have what it takes to be middle management.
Yeah.
And I can work with that. You know, I had an asexual convention here, but I had no fucking idea. Somehow, that always gets a laugh. You know what the nice thing about sex is? My favorite thing about sex? It's easy to spell. Nobody ever misspells that word, really. Now, I was home from work for several days, and you know what happens when that happens? You watch daytime television. And I was watching the Montel Williams show. And you know, at first I didn't like Montel, but now I think he's really cool. Because like, what he's basically doing is presiding over one long marathon orgy of self-victimization. You know, his guests, they're all like, you know, you said you were going to marry me 20 days ago and you didn't. And I got this ring. It's a cheap ring. It's cubic zirconia. It's like, yeah, you said you were going to do right by my daughter-in-law. Now you ain't doing it. Well, there's this guy on the show, and while his like mother-in-law and his fiance were screaming at him, he was going, oh, oh. You know, and I thought, well, this would be a really handy response to virtually any life crisis. You're fired! Oh. Can I see your license and registration? Oh. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Oh. Yeah, you hear about that Russian oil spill? Third worst in history, 2 million barrels spilled. You know what I think? I think we should airlift 2 million barrels of vinegar and make a salad. Yeah, that's what I want. I've had, anyway, back to the Sid Vicious impression, right? Regrets. I had a few, like getting into that pissing contest with the racehorse and engaging the sun in a staring contest and having the Grim Reaper tattooed on my forehead was probably not such a great idea either. And now I will close the show as I have been for the last few weeks with a medley of Christmas carols as performed by a kitten in my trousers. It's our national anthem, you punk! You putrefying, putrefacted
pile of putrescence.
But that's all right, because you are my friend. You are all my friends. And if you have any comments about today's presentation, write them on the back of a $20 bill and give them to me at the end of the show. I'm the wrong hero, a legend in his own mind. They're after me. On the run. Wanted man. Who's wanted?
Hurry up, the drums.
Well, the Tonight Orchestra is setting up here. We're going to have a really wonderful show tonight. We have Ben Gazzara. He's been dead for several years, but he's agreed to make a surprise guest appearance just for us. Now, like Congress, my brain has been taken over by my own lunatic fringe. And I guess that's why folks say the wrong hero is a legend in his own mind. Yes, I'm the wrong hero, and brevity is the soul of wit, and so for the next 2 hours, I'm going to say what's on my mind. Before I begin, a word of friendly advice. I love you. Even though every sound that percolates from your diseased and decaying, rotten, toothless, misshapen skulls, I despise. Actually, no, I just like to use the word misshapen. Come on in, please, have a seat, sit down, make yourself comfortable, or uncomfortable as the case may be. Welcome to the Black Hole of Calcutta. Today we're going to cram 147 people into this room with no water, and we're going to make a documentary, but it will have to not be shown because there won't be enough light. I really do love you, even though you're a little more than filthy, lice-infested apes who sweat all day for a lousy banana pellet, which you greedily cram into your insatiable pie holes. And then you make the beast with two backs, and when the sun god climbs off his chariot, you climb into your fart sack and get ready for another day of more of the same. But I really do love you, and something else I have to tell you too. Your sinister plan very nearly worked, you fiends, but you made one crucial mistake. If you kill Superboy in the future, he won't grow up to be Superman in the past, and you will disrupt the entire space-time continuum. So we have to bring a Deus Ex Machina in here and revive Superboy. The rest of the Legion of Superheroes can die for all I care. Their sales have been very mediocre lately, but you have to save Superboy, okay? Hi, I'm the wrong hero, the master of complex superficiality. You know, I can't decide whether I'm a shaman of class animus or an avatar of the moron zeitgeist. You know, this isn't really comedy. This is a ceremony of ritualistic incantation which predates Greek drama. And some of the jokes also predate Greek drama. My motto is, silence, earth filth, the master speaks. And my other motto is, I think I can, fail. And my third motto, just to get this in the groups of three that people love so much, my third motto is, Oi, you! Shut up and look at me wide! Now, the joint meeting of the Bhopal Gas-Affected Women Workers Association and the Bhopal Gas-Affected Destitute Pensioners Struggle Front will not be held today, so that we might bring you the wrong hero. Now, if my presentation seems a little bit mechanical, it's because I have a hydraulic fluid leak, and it will cost $100 to repair. Even though if I had stuck a wad of gum under there, I probably would have saved myself all that money. Oh, and the allegations that I have been engaged in financial irregularities have not been presented to me in a format which I am legally obliged to respond to, so get a warrant or get out, okay? I'm the wrong hero. Folks say I ought to be canonized, and as soon as they find a cannon which is large enough to jam me into, I'm sure they will proceed to do so. Now,
if these jokes aren't funny to you, it's not your fault. The devil is in my comedy today. Now, I'm the wrong hero, and I won't insult your intelligence, just your physical appearance. Don't you ever comb your hair, Steve? What's the matter with you, huh? How are you going to get a job like that, huh? You'll get the reverse of a job. You'll get a boss. You know, it's just sort of like a union job, you know. Do you have any questions?
What kind of questions do you usually take?
I am unable to answer that question at this time. Okay, would you answer a hypothetical question? Well, you just did anyway, so there. Yeah. Listen, being reactionary, you say anything at all and I'll find a way to disagree with you. Got an apple pie. The apple pie is soggy. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like Congress, in fact. Guaranteed health care. The doctors won't vote for us in the next election. And the lawyers will be happy. Yes, so on the job, I do the work of two. The Menendez brothers, but let's not discuss that right now. Yes, those contemporary references really get them. I'll be telling the same joke in the year 2010. The Menendez brothers? Who's that? Oh, they're the cyber bandits. Yeah. So. Occupations are essentially extended human traits. Reporters represent human curiosity. Policemen represent authoritarianism. And the wrong hero represents wildly delusional behavior. Hi, I'm the wrong hero. And there's no other place in the work world for an individual of my talents. I need to be retrained for a job that will no longer exist by the time I am re-educated. Now, at the job interview, they ask you questions like, what is your biggest flaw? Well, one time I said, I tend to be lazy. And they said, well, at least you're honest. And I said, no, I lied about that, too. I don't get very many job interviews. Maybe it's the cover letter, like, Dear sirs, suck my drug-laced nipples, earth filth. With socialist greetings, the wrong hero. Oh, and my resume, you know, maybe I don't get to the interviews because of the resume. This is my resume. It's mine, do you hear me? Mine. Get your oily hands off of it, you great big greasy man! With socialist greetings, the wrong hero. Yes, I applied for unemployment, and I filled out the unemployment form in 4 different colors of ink. So now I got disability on a Section 9, Section 9, Section 9. You know, I don't believe in abstaining from sex, just intimacy. And maybe that's why, you know, I don't get that many offers there. You know, in the future, I do believe that everybody who is not a robot will be in jail. I hear and obey, master. See, I'm on the top of the curve with that one. You know those Saturn commercials? You know, what went through their minds when they decided to market a car called Saturn? Oh, what do we call our new model car? Oh, we could call it Mars after the god of war. No, the Cold War's over. Oh, we could call it Venus after the goddess of love. No, that would only appeal to the women. We want to get the men and the women.
I know! We'll call it Saturn! Devours his own children! Saturn! Great name for a car! And I got the ad campaign all lined up.
Here you go, son. Here's the keys to your new Saturn.
Gee, thanks, Dad!
Saturn, because you don't want your kids to outlive you now, do you? Yes. I started a production of A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams, but they updated it. They changed the title to Fucking Trolley Slut. And really did big business down in the combat zone, too. Now, here's a question that has baffled philosophers throughout the ages. And it's a question I would like to put to you. Maybe some of you clever folks know the answer to it. What kind of bear is Yogi Bear?
Brown bear.
Oh, you think he's a brown bear? Well, that would probably make him a grizzly bear, which means that if the picnic basket sits really still, he won't molest it, you know? Or maybe he's a black bear and he'll just devour everything in sight. He's a brown bear who behaves like a black bear.
Yogi, why do you wear a necktie?
Hey, verily, boo-boo, it is because I have no neck. And now, Yogi Bear and Hanna-Barbera, in conjunction with Sophocles, present the Yogi cycle. Yogi Rex, Boo Boo at Colonus, and Scooby-Doo meets Antigone. I'm going to kill my father. Ooh. You ever notice that Mickey Mouse, Barbara Bush, and the Quaker Oats Man all have the same silhouette? You know, get him in a police lineup. Who did it? It was Mickey. No, it was the Quaker Oats Man. No, it was Barbara. You know, all right, Booker. You know, slap the Darbies on her. Oh, I'm also working on a project to combine two of the greatest masterworks of modernist literature and American literature. It's called Huckleberry Finnegan's Wake. River run past Paps and Jim's, lead us via circumlocution's locution to Aunt Polly's house. The end. See, it's short. It doesn't bore you. You know what they're doing in advertising these days is they are getting pretty women, you know, they've always done this, but beautiful women who say to the person, don't embarrass me by buying brand X. You know? It's like,
You cheap son of a bitch! You take me out, you buy me a drink, you give me dinner, and then you take me home and what's in your cupboard? Brand X! I'm not having anything to do with you!
so, I don't know, it's kind of a distressing trend. And another distressing trend is people who say, unless you've been living in a cave for the last 20 years, surely you know about. In other words, what they're saying is, unless you've been living in a cave, you will punish heretics by marginalizing them as ignorant, overlooking the fact that you are utterly brainwashed by the consensus mentality of the media. That's what they're really saying. And the one that really, really gets me, because I was a weird kid myself, unless they're weird, your kids will eat it.
Unless they're weird.
Your kids will eat it. You know, it's like, unless your real baby has been kidnapped by leprechauns and replaced by a changeling, or abducted by aliens and replaced with a twisted mutant cyborg freak, your kids will eat it. Unless they're weird, your parents will take it. Yes, they'll take it. Being lashed 18 hours a day. You have kids, don't you? I can't fire you and you can't quit because you have kids. So unless you're weird, you'll take it. You know, what I've discovered is that by the time you're old enough to give good advice, you're too decrepit to set a bad example. For instance, my father, he's always spouting with the good advice, like, you know, money isn't everything. I say to him, Dad, can I have some money? Money isn't everything. Well, if money isn't everything, then
Why don't you give me some?
well, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. Money doesn't grow on trees.
I know money doesn't grow on trees. It falls from your fat wallet, fool!
Now, fork it over, Porky. Pronto. Habla Espanol, Pappy? Or, oh, here's a good one he likes. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Well, you catch more flies with bullshit!
Than you do with either honey or vinegar.
What are we gonna do? Go into business catching flies? Fly catcher, dad, and son.
You know, what are we going to do with the flies when we catch them?
Feed goldfish? There's a profitable business for you. Boy, oh boy, call me Donald Trump. I got a handful of dead flies.
Marla Maples, come here. Look at my dead flies. Yeah, that's cool. And, you know, hey, son, I hear you're getting married. Well, you know what they say? Why buy a cow if milk is cheap? Hey, why buy anything if you're sturdy enough to beg? You know? Build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. Dad, wouldn't it be cheaper and easier to get construction workers to do it? You know? I mean, I think the world would demand time and a half, you know what I'm saying? It'd be kind of hard to employ 5.5 billion people to build some fucking dirt road up to my squalid cabin because you didn't get an education. Yeah, my dad, get an education, stay in school, because I don't want you around here, you know? It's cool. So, hey, how are you fine, young, upstanding people there? I'm sorry, I won't shout anymore. Just don't ignore me. Or ignore me anyway. Just don't throw stuff. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. I like the sweater. It's really beautiful. No, not your sweater. Your sweater's okay. I mean yours. Yours. The turtleneck on sweater ensemble. Perfect. It really goes with your skin tone, my dear. Do you use Estee Lauder? No, I'm sorry. I'm ribbing you, but I'm really sincere, kind of. You know, once you can fake sincerity, you've got it made. You know what I'm saying? Now, you both look very, very nice. What are you doing in a dump like this anyway, you know? Hey, no, I know, you're here for the first anniversary of the Reggae Jam. Quite a momentous occasion. Boy, I'll tell you, it's actually the 50th anniversary, because we've had 50 of the Reggae Jams, but it's the first year, you know. Year one, Reggae Jam. Woo! You know, oh, they're skanking on the bridge, Captain. He's playing Rivertown City, but he's out of key. The 50th rendition of I Shot the Sheriff, but he's not black, he's white. He can't sing reggae. What is he doing here? He's a Klingon. Yeah, well, yes, I went to college. I dropped $100,000, and you know what I learned in college? How to drink vodka and cappuccino without getting sick. How to eat powdered iced tea out of the foil packet. How to say in 500 words what was never worth saying in the first place. And best of all, how to say, I know exactly what you mean, instead of,
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
so I have a word for all of you who are thinking of going to college.
Give me the $100,000. I'll teach you all that in 10 seconds. Give
Me the money, okay? All right, oh, okay. Now I can settle down a little bit, maybe I'll even sit down. No, then it wouldn't be stand-up, it would be sitting on your fat ass comedy, you know? And that wouldn't work, it doesn't fit on the marquee. Tonight, sitting on your fat ass comedy, starring your host, Don Glib. So, situationist nursery rhymes. Yeah, I knew that would get a big rise out of you before I even opened my mouth. The Situationists were a group of radicals who in Paris, 1968, basically just wrecked a bunch of stuff and got de Gaulle on their ass. They're a bunch of radicals, and I thought maybe if they were gonna raise kids, they'd want to teach them situationist nursery rhymes, like hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock in his futile attempt to efface the rhythms of the workforce. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat, whose beauty was effaced and warped by the labor wrung from the miseries of the urban proletariat. And the three little kittens have lost their mittens and don't know where to find them. But the oldest of the kittens said, "It is only a start. Let us get on with the battle." I'm the wrong hero. I'm a sports fan. I'm one of the fan club of the unGreat. You know what I'm saying? I sit in the stadium watching the heroes of Mount Olympus perform. There's Zeus, he's got his fastball, it's a real slider. Mercury, you know, it's a hit. Mercury catches it. He uses those little wings on his heels and he catches that ball. Oh, there's Loki, the god of mischief. It's a curveball, it's an out, it's a foul. I'm getting out of this one. Yeah. You know, from militaristic Cold War babies, the torch is passing to whining baby boomers who want infinite amounts of health care, and they want it now. Yes, truly, we are living in great times. The communists have bitten the dust, and now The radical right can have a field day. Congress, what happens when racists and fundamentalists get together? A skinhead Jesus, you know? And it's cool, you know? Let this cross pass from me. Give it to that mud person over there. Let him carry it for a while. I am superior, of Aryan stock. Well, I was going to do one of my favorites, not yours. I don't care about you. Corruption Man. Hey, it's Corruption Man, but I'm not going to do it because I don't have anything for it. I thought maybe I'd be able to wing it, but I can't.
Well, let's hear some. What do you think about the Zapatistas?
The Zapatistas? I think that they're named after an underground comic book, aren't they? Yes. The root of all satire is a feigned ignorance. But don't quote me on that or I'll deny I ever said it. You know, I'm a pretty erudite guy. With my left eye, I read Das Kapital by Karl Marx. With my right eye, I read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
And with my third eye, I read the Kama Sutra and the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
And I will never die. You know what I like to do? Hey, how you doing? I like the ensemble. It sort of matches my own, in fact. Why don't you get up here and tell some jokes? Anything would be better than this. And your ensemble also matches mine. I didn't notice it. I like the way the colors work together. The black, the blue. Uh-oh, I better shut up or I'll be black and blue, huh? Yeah, so when I go to the bathroom, now here's a real, this is good. I'm addressing the dinner crowd here. When I go to the bathroom, I get up and what I like to do is I like to mop up the sink with a little bit of toilet paper, and as the bowl is swirling down, I like to throw that paper right in the center of the maelstrom. And when it goes down, I go, all right, 3 points, It's like toilet paper basketball. Whew. Yeah, all right, Michael Jordan, move over. I'm the king of toilet paper basketball. I don't like to use the word shit. I think it's an ugly word. I think they should replace it with something nice, like brown monuments to a healthy appetite. No shit, man. If somebody ever shoots at me, I hope at least it's an American gun. I wouldn't want to put people out of work, by some cheap Chinese machine gun, That's the big thing, that guy who sprayed the White House with bullets. It was a Chinese gun. If it was a good old Colt 45, it would be like, hey, we're going to have you on NRA today, Like, aiming at the president with a Colt 45, some do's and don'ts. Watch out for that kick. It's killer, Ooh. I like to think of myself as a New Englander now. I'm only rude to strangers and those I love and close family members and people who get in my way and everybody else for that matter. Ah, yes. The nice thing about fruits and vegetables is they want to be eaten. If you don't eat them, then their seeds will never get planted and they'll never grow new fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables want to be eaten, and that's why it's no fun to eat them, and I refuse.
Why should I suck up to a bunch of fruits and vegetables? You lousy Brussels sprouts. You're just evil little cabbages. Get out of my sight.
And plants like coffee and tobacco, they make themselves addictive to ensure their own survival. Basically, people on Earth are just a gigantic plantation for coffee, tobacco, and coca leaves, They're up there plotting. We got 5.5 billion customers today. Solid, man. The coffee and the coca leaf gets together, has a little party, smokes a few cigarettes, and, it's cool. It's nice. They're having a good time. I'm working on something called Uncle Mott. It's the evil opposite of Uncle Tom. It's like, tote that barge, lift that bale.
Get out of my face!
I just realized something about Southerners. They have the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. If it weren't for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, most Southerners wouldn't have anything to do. That's the way it works. I saw that yawn. Don't think that oxygenating your brain escaped my notice.
What about religion?
What about religion?
They have that to do.
Oh, they have that to do. Well, what does that involve? You know, sitting around carrying signs that say God hates homosexuals, and then they have another sign, but Jesus thinks some of them are kind of cute. Yeah, so, yeah, you ever notice when Southerners get angry at you, they talk like they're taking a shit. It's like,
What you doing around here anyway, boy, huh? Hey, what do I do down around here? Put that air in your tires and get the hell out of town right now.
yeah. You know, I think there's a little bit of the wrong hero in all of us. I have no real proof of this, but I just like to say it. Because, like the wrong hero, the world is fragmenting into delusional, self-interested provinces. The result, perhaps, of a mass conversion disorder, a form of paralysis associated with emotional problems, resulting in one-dimensional capitalism, races and ethnic groups divided by class, and class groups divided by race and ethnicity, and terrorists who want only to be noticed. You know, they don't show Porky Pig cartoons in Indonesia because most Indonesians are devout Muslims. 20 million Americans believe the moon landing was a hoax. 46% of Russians want the monarchy to be restored. You can get the death penalty for killing a poultry inspector under the new anti-crime law passed in Congress. But amid all this bad news, there's a ray of hope. An anecdote I would like to tell to conclude my presentation. 90 miles off the coast of Bangladesh, a man was drowning, and a giant sea turtle swam up to him and kept him afloat until a passing ship picked up both him and the giant sea turtle. Around the neck of the giant sea turtle, they hung a rubber bracelet with a note which said, "This is the savior of man. Protect him." And that got me to thinking, where can I get one of these notes? You know,
This is the savior of man. Protect him.
that's what I want. I'm the wrong hero. Good night. I'm the wrong hero, and I'm getting tired of wearing this dress, and if anybody would like to give me a uniform that I could wear, if such a thing could exist, a uniform for the wrong hero, well, couldn't be a uniform, it would have to be an irregular uniform, but that's an oxymoron now, isn't it? Greetings, carbon brains. My advanced mind is so advanced that, as a matter of fact, it is not based on carbon forms, but upon silicon, like many of your compute. Before I finally eliminate you squalid Earth people, I might as well tell you every detail of my fiendish plan for world domination, since you are helpless to stop me. But first, let me introduce myself. I am the wrong hero. I am an error in the system. I am made in a world I never trapped. I'm an artist, a supreme intellectual. And a supreme intellectual, an artist such as myself, creates his own moral universe. But before I proceed to tell you more about that, an important announcement. The annual meeting of the gang of bitter hermits and outcasts will not be held today or any other day.
Do I have to leave now?
No. Let me tell you something. Just the other night, I was sitting around in my sinister mountaintop fortress, gloating about how great I am because only I hold the secret of the anti-life equation, when suddenly, do not adjust the focus. There is nothing wrong with your television set. I'm just nervous. You know, I was thinking on the way over here, I was thinking everything is coming my way. That's what I was thinking. Everything is coming my way. I was driving over here and I was thinking, everything is coming my way. That's because I was on the wrong side of the highway. Cool. And Einstein was in the seat with me and he said, aha, that demonstrates my theory of relativity. Basically, I'm here to tell you news stories disguised as old ones. Depressing stories where good things make bad people more ignorant. But I refuse to allow my presentation to be shaped by the semi-coherent dictates of an irreparably corrupt and intrinsically moronic consensus mentality. Did I say that? Sorry. What I really meant to say was,
Yeah! Let's kill all the hillbillies! Let's go! Come on! Cooter! Cheater! Get that rope! Let's kill all the hillbillies! Yeah!
that's what I meant to say. But before we kill all the hillbillies, I've got something to share with you. Some tittle-tattle, some trivial twaddle, some mumbo-jumbo, goosey-gander jibber-jabber, some super-duper, pooper-scooper piffle. But first, let me tell you about my most embarrassing moment. Cavalry. I was being crucified on the cross, and they offered me a sponge soaked in wine, and much to my embarrassment, I had to tell the centurions that I was a recovering alcoholic. Clever people make me nervous, but somehow here today I am strangely at ease. Because I am the wrong hero, the master of ego-centrifugal force. I have some questions for you. What are your greatest hopes? What are your greatest fears? What makes you happy? What makes you angry? You don't know. Neither do I. That's why I'm up here. Here's a question that I'd like to ask. What did God do on the 8th day? He created the world in 6 days. On the 7th day, he rested. What did he do on the 8th day? What do you give the God who has everything? It's a question. It's a question that's been bugging me. I think maybe a trip to Chuck E. Cheese might be in order for the big guy. You know, he could like wave his finger and the big mouse would start hitting the kids. And that would demonstrate his theory of free will. Or maybe not. Another question. Why do screaming teenage girls remind me of chimpanzees? It's a question that bothers me. Drugs. Drugs are bad, and here's why. Drugs block the brain's natural receptors for its own pain-killing substances, which kind of sucks. Don't you hate it when that happens? You're using drugs, and you can feel those little receptors shutting down. Your own brain chemicals can't work. It sucks, man. You gotta keep using the drugs. When you find out how little people know about your job, then you realize how little people know in general about anything. You know? I was working at the place where I work, a lot of contact with people, a lot of customer relations, and one woman said to me, "I've never been treated like this in my entire life." And I said to her, "You have never been in an environment where you have been held accountable for your own insensitivity and stupidity before, either. Now, have you?" I'm one of those guys, I could never work in a bank because I'm one of those guys who has to count everything. I could just see me with the pennies. 107,247, 107,248, 107,249. Could you help me, please? Shh, 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 shh. Oh, you made me forget. Now I gotta start all over again. 1, 2, 3. Also, I tend to give personalities to the coins. So I could never work in a bank. I'd be in the nickel drawer and I'd say, "Hey, Tom Jefferson, selling any of your children down the river lately? How you doing there, big fella? Like the wig, big boy. Hey, Frankie, still smoking them cigarettes, I see. You're gonna die in Warm Springs, Georgia from them, you know. You're gonna have a stroke and your mistress is gonna be sitting on your lap when you do it. Hey, George Washington, how's that old false teeth fitting you there? Hey, like the wig, big fella. Listen, can I strike a match on your teeth? Oh, they're not made of wood, they're made of ivory. I forgot. Sorry about that, old boy. Hey, Susan B. Anthony, ratchet jaw. How you doing there? Hey, listen, can I open a beer bottle with like between your teeth? You know, it looks like, yeah. All right, solid, cool. You know, and it's the same thing with the silverware in a restaurant. I tend to give them names like, hey, it's Little Sharpie, Sawtooth, good to see ya. Hey, how you doing, big? It's the Big Spoon. Hey, Big Spoon. Run away with the dish lately? Jump over the moon, huh? Anyway, yes. I don't like to eat lunch in my office when I'm at work. I don't like to eat lunch in my office because I don't have an office. But if I did, I wouldn't want to eat lunch in my office because there's time enough to eat lunch in your office after you die, after you're dead. When I go for job interviews, they ask me questions. And then at the end, just to even things out a little bit, they say, "Now, do you have any questions for us?" And I say, "Yes, just one. When can I start killing the peasants, Mr. Big Whip?" That's the question. And that's why I don't get many job offers. We have computers at the place where I work. You like that one? Good. We have computers at the place where I work, and now I can fuck things up at the speed of light. You know, there's a thin line between genius and insanity, but there's an even thinner line between stupidity and sabotage, and I've crossed that line more than once. The other day I was at work and I was really busy, and standing 10 feet away from me, there's this guy from upstairs who works on computers, and he's standing there talking to my boss saying how he has nothing to do. Do you know how irritating that is? You're working like a goddamn slave. There's some of the gray over there cracking the whip, and then there's one of them house slaves standing there saying, "Oh, boss, I ain't got nothing to do right now. What am I going to do anyway? Why don't you help me, huh?" Well, anyway, I had to get that off my chest. You know, when he said I had nothing to do, when he said the word nothing, there was a little slash through it, you know. That's how you can tell he's a real computer nerd. Yes, there's a big flap over at Carnegie Mellon University over people sending obscene pictures over the internet. Now, Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, what else is there to do in Pittsburgh? And you know, in Carnegie Mellon, they have computers in their bathrooms. What do you expect them to send over the internet when they have computers in their bathrooms, you know? Oh, I got this stall here. It's my stall from 8:30 to 9 p.m., okay? I don't want anybody to disturb me in my stall, and I've got my internet, and I've got that from 8:30 to 9 p.m. Talk about synchronicity. Anyway, I would like to bring back Mr. Rogers, but I'd like to bring him back for the 90s and call him Mr. Swagger, which is Mr. Rogers backwards. And one of the things I suppose he would say is, "You are nothing special to me. I will crush you with this giant brick if you don't pay attention to me, because you are nothing special to me." I have a feeling that Disneyland is hell. A DNA experiment gone awry. You can't spell Disneyland without DNA. Think about it. Goofy can crush a kid's head with one clench of his fist, which is why he wears those white gloves. He can throw them out and start on a new pair, you know? Mickey Mouse has a high voice, but lately he's been mainlining steroids, so it's like, "Thanks for the steroids, Uncle Walt!" Donald Duck's mellowed out a little bit. He's on the super tranquilizers now. So it's all like... yes, the Globe Calendar. Has anybody been reading the Globe Calendar lately? Does anybody ever read the Globe Calendar? They had a big article on comedy, and they didn't mention this place. The woman said, there's only one comedy open mic in town. It's like, read your own goddamn listings. There it is, right there in the comedy section. Comedy on the edge. Well, you know, it's like, duh, I think I'll write an article about comedy, but I won't do any legwork whatsoever, and I'll make gross blanket statements because I'm too lazy to read the Boston Globe Calendar, which I write for, to find out whether there is more than one open mic. So anyway, again, something I had to get off my chest. You know what I've been thinking? Thrash music. You know, any warning can be made to the lyrics of a thrash song. You know, it's like a frost at the green, not in between. Or, you know, something like Sergeant General's warning. Quitting smoking now may reduce hazards to your health. Hazards to your health. Hazards to your health. Hazards to your health. And rap songs. You know, a lot of gangster rap. It sort of teaches anti-social lessons. So maybe they ought to have therapeutic rap songs like. I was walking down the street. I was really ill, and my brother gave me some penicillin. You know, I was walking down the street, I was sad as I could be, and my brother said, I got a cure for TB. You know, you can jazz up any stupid, dopey song, no matter how stupid it is, and dopey, by throwing in the word hey. Like over, under, sideways, down, hey! Hey! You know, it's like, when the red robin goes bob, bob, bobbing along, hey! Yeah. It works. Try it sometime. Any dopey song. All you need is love. Hey! Oh, say, can you see? Hey! Jingle bells, hey! Jingle bells, hey! Jingle all the hey! It would work. What's been disturbing me lately is the Dean Martinization of the world. You know, the lounge singers are making a big comeback. Tony Bennett and the undead Frankenstein Sinatra. He's got Bob Hope's leg. It got blown off. Now he's Bob Hop. It's Frankenstein Sinatra, the undead performer. He'll drop dead, and then they'll get a bolt of lightning, and they'll resuscitate him. Frankenstein Sinatra. But Dean Martin, he's a cool guy, but you can see where everything is going to turn into Dean Martin pretty sooner or later. It's inevitable. Any song at all, like Rico, that little wine drinking, suave. Any song at all, like I feel good, so good. Hey, give me another little drinky there. So good. I want you. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, Dean Martin, what a guy. This episode of The Wrong Hero has been brought to you by Snapple, made from the best stuff on earth. Corn syrup and water, the best stuff on earth, man. I'll tell you, I can't get enough of that corn syrup. When I get locked up in that bomb shelter, I want corn syrup, water, canned cream corn, clean peaches and heavy syrup, and an oven cleaner. Man, I'm there for the millennium. Corn syrup and water, that's me, yeah. Call me Mr. Corn, Mr. Syrup, and Sir Water. Yeah. I read a headline in a Boston newspaper. Boston driver stops at red light, causes 10-car pileup. Man, I'll tell you, these guys, they drive like there's no tomorrow. I want to start a mediocre sports team called the Wannabes. Can you just see the merchandising possibilities? Hi, I'm one of the Wannabes. In fact, that could be like the name of every fan. Every sports fan could be a part of the team, the Wannabes. I can't play sports. I've got a bad back. It voted Republican in the last election. That's because the GOP promised to get big government off our backs, and
my back went for that promise. And my back wanted to get right back to where it started from, to where we started from, the Pleistocene era, when 4 on the floor meant walking with your knuckles scraping in the dust. Ah. Now that we have a GOP Congress, now it's sort of like CNN is a Neander talent show. You know, because you got Arlen Specter. What kind of name is Arlen Specter? Who's this running mate going to be? Space Ghost? Arlen Specter! Space Ghost! Lamar Alexander. He looks like something out of a Washington Irving novel. You know, Ichabod Crane, call your office. Lamar Alexander has no head. It's just a giant grinning pumpkin cackling. Jack Kemp. He looks like a convicted televangelist with bad hair. Helmet head, you know? It's like, helmet head, Space Ghost, Arlen Specter. James Baker. The picture of Dorian Gray meets the Pillsbury Doughboy. Take a look at these people sometime. This is your Neander talent show. The GOP Congress and the GOP governors. Phil Graham. He looks like a protozoan with aviator specs, you know? Get that lab slide, draw a pair of aviator specs on it, you got him right there. Phil Graham. Dick Cheney. A dull Bush. Just what we need. A boring version of George Bush. You know, Pete Wilson. He looks a lot like Anthony Perkins in Psycho. You ever notice this? You know, it's like, I wouldn't kill a fly. I would kill several million illegal immigrants, but not a fly. Bill Weld will never be president. Hey, can I have a little bit of that water?
No.
Oh, please. Oh, please, I don't care. As long as it doesn't have gasoline. You can see I'm a desperate man. Yes, would you be so kind? Vinci, so good side. Bill Weld will never be president because his baboon nose is not photogenic. You know, it takes up half the picture. It won't work. Bob Dole. His name sounds like a stingy British welfare system. Bob Dole? Can I have a Bob, Governor? A Bob Dole for the old guy now. Dan Quayle. He dyes his sideburns white with white shoe polish so he'll look distinguished and give off that aura of gravitas. He added 10 years to his age, you know. Yes, and thank you so much, sir. Talk about rap music. Hey! There's a man on a ledge, says he's going to jump. People gone blow, say, go on, it's just a jump. Hey! Yeah. That's an oldie but a goodie. Wow, we're getting to the point now where we can have classic rap. Just too much. Well, there's some good news for Bill Clinton. In the '96 election, he has a lock on Washington, D.C., Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and maybe Arkansas. Hey, that's 25 electoral votes, don't laugh. Of course, there's like over 400 electoral votes to be decided, but hey, you know. You know what's wrong with Arkansas? How can you respect a state that stole its name from scintillating Kansas? Arkansas, where the state motto is, Sue-ee! Arkansas, which produced distinguished statesmen like Senator Fulbright, whose big moment came when, in 1948, he told Harry Truman not to run for re-election. And Orville Faubus came from Arkansas. Notorious segregationist, the Arkansas Hall of Fame. Anyway, I was coming up with some slogans for the GOP Congress. Because, you know, they're the head honchos now. Do the right thing. Or power corrupts, corrupt powers. And might makes right. The Great Leap Backwards, La Dolce Vita, Gingrichitis. Oh, and you know, an anagram for Republicans, can burp lies. Perfect, man. That could be their slogan. GOP 96, Republicans can burp lies. You know, now that the GOP controls both houses, let's see whether they're going to keep their promise of shrinking Congress by refusing to accept their pay and going home and staying there. I don't think so. The Kennedy School. I work at the Kennedy School, and a woman came in and said, I need to write a speech. Can you help me? I said, sure. What's the speech about? Duty, honor, and family values. Can you tell me any reference books I can consult? And I said, what about the Bible? And she said, just goes to show, you know. The K School is no longer like part of the mainstream. The Republicans are going to go to the Heritage Foundation to get their advice. They're not going to go to the Kennedy School. So that just goes to show that yesterday's mainstream is tomorrow's marginalia. The K School, the Kennedy School, is overrun with professors who can recite Ozymandias in 3 languages, but they don't know how to change the paper in a Xerox machine. You know, well, now that the communists have bitten the dust, the radical right can have a field day fighting immigrants and welfare mothers. You know, that's a pretty even match, don't you think? With one breath, they make speeches about family values, and with another breath, they rant about people using food stamps to buy lottery tickets. What a crime! You know, whoa! Sorry, I just can't get too worked up over this. And they're not concerned about building better schools, just having prayer in schools. And they figure if we can't afford a war, we can squander the money on a space program. A space program. How are we going to finance it? Let's sell weapons to the third world. When they make the planet uninhabitable, that will justify the money we spent on the space program, won't it? You know, I'm in favor of having a third party. The plaid shirt party. The party of the common man. We'll have a no dress code convention. A come as you are caucus. And here is our platform for the plaid shirt party. Embrace everybody, regardless of convictions or the lack thereof. Declare housing projects to be Indian reservations and build casinos on them. We'll merge the yen and the dollar and replace the penny with the yenny. We'll privatize housing and urban development and sell it to the YMCA. We'll build heartless shelters where heartless people can go to hide from the homeless. Of course, we already have those. They're called suburbs, but... And we'll criminalize bread. I just threw that one in. I don't know. I kind of like the sound of it. Now, Vladimir Zhirinovsky, tell me something. Why do all fascists have short hair and extremely thin skins? Just a thought. You know, all my life I've lived by one motto. Everybody else always ruins it for a few assholes. Never noticed this?
Hey, I heard that joke before.
Hey, and well you might have. Okay, here's one you haven't heard. When your mother says, what if everybody did that? Then you'd say to her, well, then I'd be a fool not to. Wouldn't I? You know, you can send a coconut through the mail without any wrapping, but make sure you have the right address. Simba, care of the Monkey House, Bronx Zoo, New York. And get that zip +4, you know? Make sure you got that. You know, I think I have false memory syndrome, but I can't be sure. I think it's time we end all the senseless violence. I think we ought to have some sensible violence for a change. I am Mr. Sregor. You are nothing special to me. Yesterday it was raining cats and dogs, and I got to wondering, Do the cats and dogs resolve their difficulties on the way down? It's like, well, Poochie, it looks like the end for us. Sure does, kitty. Well, it's been nice knowing you, Poochie. Here's that $5 I'm just wondering. They say, still waters run deep. That's a pretty good description of a toilet when you think about it. I like to spend hours in the bathtub. Sometimes I even put water in it when I've been feeling extra special. You know, I never get heartburn because I don't have a heart. I believe that evil is the root of all money. Did I say that? What I really meant to say was, yeah, let's kill all the hillbillies. Come on, Jeter, Cooter, get the rope, let's go. I also believe that, politics is sports for people who are too fat to run. Well, the kids like that one. Okay, kids, here's one for you. My impression of a speedometer. You know what a speedometer is on a car? I want you to bring them to every show. Do you understand? I'm the wrong hero. A conspiracy of one, anonymously out in the open. Everybody recognizes me, but nobody knows who I am. I am a neoconservative, a paleo-liberal, a fundamentalist anarchist, an authoritarian libertarian, a radical centrist, who's basically apolitical. When I speak softly to a crowd, people think I'm arrogant, and they're right. The mind grows in knowledge. Knowledge is power, but power corrupts. Too much power leads to opposition. Opposition leads to bureaucracies. Bureaucracies are formed to perpetuate bureaucracies. Like the genes in an individual person, which replicate in order to preserve the chances of the genes replicating in order to preserve the chances of the genes replicating in order to preserve the chances of the genes replicating in order to preserve. Hi, I'm the wrong hero. Alleged in my own mind. Good night.
Francis DiMenno.
Devil with a blue dress, blue dress, blue dress, devil with a blue dress song. Down, 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 down. Good golly, Miss Molly. That's my medley of Devil with the Blue Dress Song, Good Golly, Miss Molly by Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, circa 1968. I'm the wrong hero, and I refuse to abase myself for the purposes of eliciting a mere chuckle. But I will put my fist in my mouth for a nickel. I'm the wrong hero, and the reason I'm the wrong hero is because I hate A.E.I.O. and especially you, and sometimes why. Why? Don't bother me! Call me hero. I've got no time or patience for dweebs, phoebes, dumbos, stumbos,
crackpots, jackanapes, freeloaders, featherbedders, flibberty gibbets, counter jumpers, knaves, fools, drunks, junkies, sickos, twistos, dipsos, conspiracy theorists, or Pollyannas. And don't clap because I've got a headache. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be something big. A hooker in Las Vegas, or a hard currency prostitute in Vladivostok. But comedian is second best. Now, this is the only place where you can like burp and get paid for it, you know, right here. Some people say the wrong hero is crazy. Meow! I want you all to know a very important truth, a fact of life, and that is this. Celebrities like me
Want you out of their way. We want you out of our way. Don't drink from our segregated drinking fountains. Don't bury your pets in our side of the pet cemetery, because celebrities like me want you out of our way.
There's an old saying, dogs bark, the caravan goes on, and all of a sudden, I've got a splitting headache. Here's an instructive moral fable for you. I was sad because I had no shoes, and then I met a man with no feet. So I let him walk all over me, and that's called affirmative action. So then I was walking down the street, still sad because I had no shoes, and then I met another man with no feet. So I kicked him good and said, "Excuse me." And that's called a return to family values. You know, you're beautiful. Really beautiful. Of course, I'm not wearing my glasses. Hey, 3 out of 4 people wear glasses. Let's extrapolate for the world. Let's see.
The non-glasses wearing individual. Security, security.
All gypsies report to the town square at once. No, don't think of me as tormenting you. I'm not tormenting you. I'm getting you into the spirit of play. Some people say the wrong hero has an obsessive-compulsive disorder characterized by a continual repetition of the same sequences of thoughts and actions. Some people say the wrong hero has an obsessive-compulsive disorder characterized by a continuous repetition of the same sequence of thoughts and actions.
Some people say the wrong hero has an obsessive-compulsive disorder characterized by the same sequences of thoughts and actions.
But in fact, I exert an uncanny, hypnotic influence on all of you. And I want you to forget I ever said that. Surely my great intelligence will someday, ironically, destroy me. But I wouldn't hold my breath. I'd hold your breath, though. Ah, that felt good. Some people say the wrong hero is a non-violent hypocrite. You believe me, don't you?
Or do you want a little trouble? Because I'll give it to you.
I don't have cerebral hemorrhages. I have stupid hemorrhages because I'm not smart enough to have cerebral hemorrhages. Hey, I'll tell you something I did. I glued my balls together. Well, because I figure, if you can't lick them, join them. Here's a riddle for you. What do jazz musicians, hairdressers, and travel agents all have in common?
They all have a bigger following than me. The Greek philosopher Zeno has a bigger following than me, and he's been dead for 3,000 years. And his name begins with the letter Z, so he's always the last one you get to in the great pre-Socratic Greek philosophers book. Well, maybe it's because of my motto. It's a motto I live by. I have it engraved on every piece of furniture in my house. And that motto is, suck my drug-laced nipples, earth filth. Where do you see the coat of arms? Whew. Yes? People say to me, wrong hero? Who do you think you are? And I say to them,
Shut up! That's who I am! I have my name legally changed to shut up! And that's who I am!
see. But on a milder note, you know, if you play golf, you're my friend. Even if you don't play golf, you're still my friend. Because, hey, I take my friends where I can get them. Every day I wake up, I spring out of bed, ready to go, because I have something to be grateful for. And I thank God. I thank God for my God-given talent. I say, God, thank you. And I thank God for my God-given talent for sponging off of my friends. God, it's good. I think that homosexual people and religious people have something in common. You see, when things start to get a little too urbanized, the genetic structure kicks in with this brain chemical which alters your sexuality so you won't reproduce and create more people who will only die. And when you get to be old, your genetic structure kicks in with this other brain chemical which tells you to be religious and have hope and ensures your survival and the perpetuity of the gene. I just thought I'd throw that in. And you know something else I realized? You can't love God unless God loves himself. Truer words were never spoken. And here's another thing I realized. I've been wondering, if Jesus came back, do you think he'd let me pick the fleas out of his beard? Maybe if we told him we were out of communion wafers? Maybe. Well, I thank God for another thing. I'm as healthy as an ox. I have flies in my ears, stones in my belly, and I smell like raw sewage. Yeah, I'm as healthy as an ox. You know, really, there's nothing more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Except maybe one monkey in a barrel giving you that special little smile. I can think of several things that are more fun than a barrel of monkeys, actually, to tell you the truth. A barrel of sheep, for example. I think that would be great fun. Now, old Scrooge is out there saying, bah, humbug, but I don't care about old Scrooge. And I'll tell you more about old Scrooge, but first, my dog. Every time my dog sees me, he jumps for joy. That's because he knows I'm a-fixin' to put a bouillon cube in the toilet bowl. Just for him. Now guys, here's something I really hate. Maybe it's happened to you. When you're taking a piss and you sneeze and the toilet lid falls down and it hits the dog on the head, don't you hate it when that happens? I know I do. Because, you know, I feel for my dog, because my dog is my best friend. All of my best friends kill chickens. All of my best friends roll around in their own shit. All of my best friends eat their own filth. All of my best friends drink from the toilet. All of my best friends piss in the corner. All of my best friends fuck in the streets. All of my best friends vomit kibbles and bits onto the linoleum. And most of all of my best friends beg for treats with their genitalia exposed. I'm going to put an ad in the paper because I need some transportation, and it's going to read, "Wanted, one car to drive around aimlessly in at no expense to myself." Because that's what I really need. I'll tell you what else I really need. I need to know of a place that I can drive to where there are no cars. That's my dream, to drive to a place where there are no cars. As you may have guessed, this is comedy in its cheap, smokable form. I call it crack comedy. For I am the wrong hero. I have no money, but I have something infinitely more valuable, whatever that is. No, infinitely more valuable. I have the human spirit. Can I borrow a cup of heroin? It's not for me, it's for a sick friend. He has a cold. That'll knock it right out. That'll knock him right out. Kids, you don't need drugs. Give them to me. I can sell them on a street and turn a tidy profit. You know, I used to use drugs, but then I went to a doctor and got a prescription, and now it's medicine. So don't bother me anymore. Because I realized something. I realized that I can start drinking anytime I want to. I realized something else too. Gourmet coffee is for former drug addicts who like paraphernalia, but hate the expense and possible illegality of procuring illicit drugs. And another thing I realized, people look forward to the weekend, but what is the weekend? The weekend is a set time for acting spontaneous. That's what the weekend is. You know, people ask me why I wear these shoulder pads, and I tell them, it's because I'm a journalist in my secret identity, and I wear them on my knees. It's called knee pad journalism. And now, this word for the Clark Kent School of Mild-Mannered Journalism. Clark Kent, mild-mannered journalist. When's the last time you've seen a mild-mannered journalist, huh? It's like, how would this guy last in the business that long if he was a mild-mannered journalist? That's what I want to know. Oh, excuse me, can I have that picture of your husband's severed penis so I can put it on page 1 of our paper? I'm sorry, can I have that picture of your husband's severed penis so I can put it on page 1 of our paper? See, it just doesn't work somehow. It bothers me. You know, the best job I ever had, I was at a job interview and they asked me, "What's the best job you ever had?" And I said, "Oh, that's pretty easy. Throwing gasoline onto fires." Actually, it wasn't a job. It was more like a hobby. And I have the scorched eyebrows to prove it. Hence, the mask. Did my laundry the other day. Like that smooth segue? Like that smooth postmodernist reference to the smooth segue? Like that incredibly smooth and sophisticated camp postmodern reference to the postmodern reference to the smooth segue? Yeah, I did my laundry the other day and I realized something. Want a drink? My laundry is like my sex life. Happens twice a year, weighs 200 pounds, takes 12 hours, costs $20. Some people say the wrong hero is a boulevardier. Others say he is a sophisticated sex maniac. I think after the show, I'm going to go to a dating bar so I can wander around in a smoky savannah and wait for a obliging female inhibitory forebrain to fall on top of my empty skull. Then again, maybe I won't. Maybe I like my skull the way it is. Empty. Empty, empty. All is emptiness. Women have an easy time of it in some respects. When folks spy an attractive woman, they say, "Look at her. Doesn't she look nice?" When people see me, they say,
Security, security. Eject the intruder at once. Report to Sector 7 immediately.
My fiancée is an existentialist, so I gave her a disengagement ring. It was actually made of diamondique. She said, "That's nothing but a carbon copy." And she was right, too. You know, the Pope came out with an encyclical in which he stated that drug addiction is grounds for divorce. Well, here's my encyclical, Il Papa. Marriage is grounds for drug addiction. Call it the wrong hero corollary to the Pope's encyclical on marriage. I broke up with my girlfriend, actually, but I went about it in a very kind-hearted way. I said, "Every time we make love, I see God, and He told me to stop going out with you." Something I just realized. Women who pretend to like sports are an awful lot like rednecks who pretend to like Spike Lee. Because everything about sports is inimical to procreation and the perpetuation of the species now, isn't it? Something I believe is that inside of every thin woman, there's a fat man struggling to get out. Usually me, but not always. I went out with a dyslexic woman. I could kick myself now. I finally realized what she meant by 96. I have a message for the children. Give me money. My message to the children. Here's a riddle for you. What did the hippie dad say to his teenage son? "Son, I'm going to teach you a lesson I'll never remember." Hey, I don't know if I'm ever going to have children, because basically, children make me nervous. Really. All the time going, "Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me." What can you say to that?
No! Look at me, puny Earthman! I am Suntar!
All of my friends brag about their children. They're that age. They all have sons and daughters and other non-sexually differentiated spawn, which they don't generally bring up in public. But what do I have to brag about? I left some ejaculate on a handkerchief last night, and it smelled like a petunia. That's basically what I have to brag about. And all these people, they still have these baby on board stickers on my car. I got sick of looking at them. So I got a sticker for my car that says, "I have no children and my life is meaningless, so go ahead and run me off the fucking road! Damn you! Damn you!" I also got a Braille bumper sticker. It said, "If you can read this, you must be blind. And you must also have long arms. As a matter of fact, your arms must be too short to box with God." You know, I put on a production of Your Arms Are Too Short to Box with God, starring a Tyrannosaurus Rex. My apartment came furnished, which is great, you know, because I wouldn't want to have to go out and buy cockroaches. You know what I'm saying?
And I live in a pretty nice neighborhood right here in Central Square. I can hear the bums outside the window at 4 a.m.
It's a good rubbing alcohol. It's not a great rubbing alcohol. Ever since they came out with that Old Spice that's alcohol-free, I don't know what I'm going to drink on Sunday.
Old Spice!
Can I get serious for a moment? You know what advertising is? I hate advertising. Advertising is the Stalinization of commodities. Oh, it's the boring cerebral stuff. Oh, it's the advanced optical nerve brain sort of stuff. You know, it's the higher thinking sort of stuff. It's déclassé. It simply will not do. Oh, what are we going to do with you? I'll tell you something else too. Advertising is pornography with good PR. That's what it is. I know you're a market researcher. You can't fool me. How much money do you have in your pockets? That's market research, all right? And you know what? Television and democracy have one thing in common. They are the spectacle of the lame leading the slow. Basically what television is chewing tobacco for the mind. I want to make a movie about tragic. Whenever you refer to a disease, you have to call it tragic. It's a Homeric epithet. I want to make a movie about tragic Alzheimer's disease. A serious, probing, searing, investigatory film. It would be called Forget Everything! This episode of The Wrong Hero has been brought to you by excrement. If you feel like shit, chew excrement. And by sacrament. Gets the smell of choir boy off your breath fast. And by eternity ration. My God's bigger than your God. My God's bigger than yours. My God's bigger because he eats eternity ration. And by Malcolm X-ray specs. A hilarious optical illusion. It enables you to actually see through white hypocrisy. Malcolm X-ray specs. You know what I was thinking? What if Santa Claus had gone to college? Hey, what if he'd gone to graduate school, you know? It's like, these chuckling noises which are emanating from my thorax are indicative of great amusement on my part. I hope you have a most salubrious and congenial winter solstice. And an equally amiable turn of the coming year. I could do more with that, you know, I really could. Ho, 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 I'm the man with all the toys. Of course, as William Blake observed, too much fun is of all things the most loathsome. I don't know. Well, this episode of The Wrong Hero is also brought to you by Anarchy Light. Only half as destabilizing as the leading form of chaos. Anarchy Light. Let's talk politics. What do you say? Huh? Politics? Huh? McNeil Arrow. Yeah, what about him? Yeah. Michael Kingsley. Larry King. Drooling sycophant. You know what? The GOP is the mean party. Let's face it. You gotta have someone up there to crack the whip, you know, Speaker of the House, Simon Legree, jump that barge, lift that. You gotta have somebody that's mean. And the GOP is the mean party. They're mean. They're just plain old mean. They're stingy. You know what they are? They are a Christmas Carol in reverse. You know? It's like, I'm giving out presents to all the poor people in England. No, wait a minute. The ghost of Christmas future just told me that I'm going to suffer a terrible fate. Fuck him. The ghost of Christmas present said I'm going to suffer a terrible fate. Screw him.
The ghost of Christmas past just said I'm gonna suffer a terrible fate. Down with him too! Hey, I'm mean old Scrooge, but Cratchit, you're not getting half a day off at my expense. Bah humbug!
A Christmas Carol in reverse. You know, now that the Republicans are in, they're going to have to change the name of Progresso Soup. I guess they're going to have to call it something like Regresso Soup, you know?
No noodles, no broth, you lazy bums! Why don't you get up off your keister and make your own damn soup? Turn your hat the other way, pull up your pants, and get a job, damn you! Don't expect us to make our soup for you!
You know, because the big divide between liberals and conservatives is basically due to the fact that the brain is not just one brain, but three brains. There's the lizard brain, which eats and drinks and goes to sleep when it's dark. And then there's the mammalian brain, which feels pain and operates on a certain instinct, which some would call emotion. And then there's the primate brain. And the primate brain is basically what makes us human. And it's also basically what makes us herd together in small groups and want to huddle around a fire for warmth and to be with other people and other creatures and be congenial. And it makes us want to perpetuate our kind, but in a very sophisticated way. And the liberals operate on primate brain override. Everything that primates instinctually shy away from, liberals embrace. The primate brain is frightened of homosexuals because they are people who do not wish to reproduce. They're frightened of people who do not believe in God because they have no hope. But liberals embrace these folks, and they operate on primate brain override. But the Republicans, on the other hand, are
Lizard brain triumphant!
and that's the gigantic cultural divide between liberals and conservatives. It will never be eradicated. Of course, most of us just schlub around with our primitive mammalian brains. We bear live young. We breastfeed them.
Pah! How contemptible!
You know, there's nothing hypocritical about my hatred for democracy. And I hope you agree. I hope a majority of you agree. In fact, I hope a supermajority, 60% of you agree, then we can enact legislation. All right, well, that's actually not a supermajority. But you know, it's a parable in a way, because 10% of the people in this country pass all of the laws, or keep the laws from being passed. Because of our system of governance, everything has to go through the Senate. Each state gets 2 senators. That means tiny Delaware, Nebraska, Rhode Island, they each get the same representation as gigantic New York, Texas, and California. So when you add them all up, the senators from the 5 smallest states have the same clout as the senators from the 5 largest states, which means 5% of the population can tell 20% of the population what to do.
It's gotta stop, damn it! I say, one wrong arrow, the only vote!
But it'll be a while before I can get Congress to pass that particular bill. Now here's a riddle for you. What do you call a skinny Republican? A survivalist. And what do you call it when a Republican gets fat? Protective coloration. Well, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Welcome to the first annual meeting and caucus and Congress of my third party, the Plaid Shirt Party. Now, last week I spoke a little bit of the platform of the Plaid Shirt Party. In the interim, I've had time to draw up a few more planks of my Plaid Shirt Party platform. And they are: abolish food stamps and nationalize salad bars. Okay? And, oh, by the way, if elected president, I promise
universal health care, but don't let me kiss your baby because you never know what diseases I might have. Yes, the Plaid Shirt Party believes that a socialist is a hobo with a PhD. The Plaid Shirt Party thinks that a hipster is just a fashionable bum. We of the Plaid Shirt Party want to legalize amphetamines, and we will lobby 168 hours a week until they are. And we want to legalize LSD, and we will lobby 25 hours a day until it is. And we want to legalize heroin, and that's smart. We of the Plaid Shirt Party believe that bureaucracy is democracy backwards. We believe that grade school is a hospital where they amputate your imagination. We believe that masturbation is the poor man's Nintendo. And there's a sub-organization of the Plaid Shirt Party called the Art Astigmatics. We don't know what we like, but we know art. We of the Plaid Shirt Party believe that big business is the religion of selfishness. We believe that religion is frozen morality. And we believe in building more jails because the nice thing about jail is your parents always know where you are. Now, isn't that nice? We believe that liberals lie and frown, and conservatives smile and kill. And most of all, we believe that there's nothing new under the sun. It's probably old and crispy and burned from having been left out in the sun too long, and somebody is probably trying to sell it at a flea market even as I speak. Maybe I should tell you a little bit about my background before I am forced to leave you. Growing up, I was poor but dirty. I used to go to the neighbor's house and say, "Can I borrow a cup of paste?" "Never mind the cup. I'll eat it here. I have this craving for starch. You got some of that stuff that you put on your iron? Can I have some of that too?" I dig that. You have any instant mashed potatoes? I want to put them in the school swimming pool. Let me just go through your cupboard, okay? Don't be a goddamn cheapskate. I'll tell you what, if it makes you feel any better, sit in the living room. I'll just go through your cupboard. We'll see what's there, what I can use. Hot dog topping. What's the ingredients? Soybean protein. Good. I'll put that in my sack. Yeah, because in our neighborhood, every day was Halloween. Trick or treat, out of the way. Let's see what's in your refrigerator today. Orange soda.
You got the wrong orange soda. I told you time and time again, I drink only one kind of orange soda. You got the wrong kind. I wanted squirt. You got hires.
Obscure Western Pennsylvania brands. I'm a serious man, but I want you to take me as a joke.
You laugh. See this? See this? It's not muscle, it's fat.
Excuse me. There's something in my eye. My eyeball. Stay there. Get along, little brother. I can see a thing without my glasses. And I'll tell you something else, too. I'm so angry when I'm cute. And I'm sorry, but I never apologize. People who live in glass houses. People who live in glass houses. Hey, I'm James Dean. I'm James Dean. Thought he was James Dean for a day. I will do the rest of my set like this, okay? Like,
Hey, I just thought of something. When Jesus was being crucified, did he to pass the time, did he pretend like he was an airplane?
Here I am, flying over Calvary. Hey, I can see your house from here.
Well, obviously I should have kept that thought to myself. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, but who on earth would want to live in a glass house? Why? Why would you want to live in a glass house? So burglars can window shop?
So you can stare at the wall and shake in the morning? So that when you're fornicating on a Saturday night, the neighbors can hold up scorecards? 9.9, 9.8, 9. Hey, what's the matter with you? Okay, 9.5. I don't know.
But why do you want to live in a glass house? So you don't have to have a stove so the sun can cook your food through the walls of your house? Why? I want to know. Why would you want to live in a glass house? So like the mold on your rug can grow into little flowers, drenched by the sun's healthful, enlightening rays? Jeez, I don't know.
Some people are so stupid. Why would they want to live in a glass house?
What? So you can get a corner of the house and turn it into a crack pipe? What? I don't know. You know, so you can return the house for the $2 million deposit at the end when you're done with it, you know? I'm the wrong hero, and my blood type is, hey, it's music. Hey, turn that music up. All right, turn it down now. They don't listen. My blood type is B negative. Also my personal philosophy, in case you haven't guessed. I've got Parkinson's disease, and he's got mine. And he
Better give it back, because I'm starting to get a little nervous.
How does he do it, you're asking yourself? Wrong hero, how do you do it? I'll answer that question for you before you've even articulated it.
With your puny lizard brains. My superior post-primate brain can process information at a speed infinitely faster than your poor, pitiful lizard brains can even apprehend it.
I'll tell you how I do it. I write down everything and leave in the confusing parts. That's called art. Art is stupid, and life is long. I am referring to Art Linkletter in The Game of Life, which he hardly endorses. You know, I really enjoy this job. I love getting up here and talking to you all. And I'll tell you something else too. Fish flop around on the bottom of the rowboat for fun. Watch them sometime. Here's a little something else you need to know. Ignore that curtain behind the man. That only works when I'm actually on a proscenium stage where there is actually a curtain, you see. We getting fretful? Pins and needles in our little foot? Well, a wise man once said that God is in the details, and it's true. God is in the details, and I wish he'd get out of there because I've been waiting for 20 minutes and my kidneys are starting to sing Anchors Away. And now, because of the recent spate and interest of and in medical programming, The Wrong Hero presents an incredibly live, spontaneous, improvised, and thoroughly rehearsed monologue entitled Dr. God. Can we think of a Dr. God? He's Dr. God, Dr. God, Dr. God. I'm improvising this now. It means I'm making up as I go along. It's Dr. God. Mild-mannered Yahweh, disguised as a lowly medical intern, but when trouble hits the operating room, he changes into his dynamic identity as Dr. God. It's like, my God, this heart transplant's really not going very well.
He's fibrillating madly. We haven't even put the heart in yet.
Oh, if only Dr. God were here. I'm Dr. God. Here, use my heart. Ah, that's good. Well, all right. I won't improvise anymore, I promise.
But I'll tell you something. Back in the days of 49, me and my faithful old mule Nell and my sidekick, old Fuzzy, we was up a-prospecting in the mountains, yes sirree. And you would never believe what we found when we were up there prospecting up there in the Sierra Nevadas. You know, that's where that old Donner Party went, and it's real tragic about what happened to them. They got caught in a blizzard back in 1846. Well, 3 years later, and there we are up in the Sierra Nevadas, and you will never believe what we saw there. Well, I'm going to tell you. In about 15 minutes after I digress some more, and after I tell you about all the diseases that my mule has, and about how old Fuzzy, one time he thought that the pillar was his girlfriend, and I wake up and here he was kissing me. Well, I sure gave it to old Fuzzy. We don't want none of that up there in the Sierra Nevada. Well, anyway, I'll never forget the day that me and old Fuzzy and my mule Nell. Did I tell you about my old mule there? Her name's Nell. Yeah, I got her in a card game. That's right. It was aces high, but since well, anyway, you don't want to hear that. I was up in the Sierra Nevadas, and you know what I saw?
I saw a man's fist the size of a gold nugget.
But then a Chinook blew it away, and so I blew him away. I'm sorry, Phil. I know you resent me. I'm taking up your valuable time. All right. How's that? People resent me because I try to act white. They do. Well, I say, let's end racism. Let the class warfare begin. In earnest. And if Ernest won't hold still for it, then let it begin in some other unfortunately cognomened individual. Someone like Sam, or Simon, or Sam Simeon. J. Randolph Hearst's Mountaintop Estate. Yes. I think that conspiracy theorists are basically people who can't hold a job. That's basically it, you know. 90% of conspiracy theorists are unemployed, and the reason they're unemployed is that when they go to fill in the job application, under hobbies they write,
Proving that Oswald was a patsy.
I'll tell you who killed Kennedy. It was Bigfoot. He was on the grassy knoll that day, but he got lost in the Bermuda Triangle, and so the truth will never be known. Oh, and Jack Ruby was his factotum. See, he killed Oswald to put the suspicion onto him. It was Bigfoot, do you hear? Now, the primate brain, in fact, indulges itself in conspiracy theories. And you can see the monkeys in the monkey house saying, who causes these bananas to appear? I'll bet it's the Jewish conspiracy that runs Hollywood.
That's what it is. It's yellow. The Star of David is yellow. The cowardly Jews lost World War I for us.
Well, maybe not. Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of logic and reasoning either. Remember, though, I do not hold these views myself. It is the primates in the zoo who I am alleging hold these views. Honest. Are you familiar with the story of Pollyanna? Well, Pollyanna has become a byword for mindless optimism. Sort of like a combination of Little Orphan Annie and Tiny Tim rolled up into one. And the problem is, most people haven't actually read Pollyanna. They should know one crucial fact before they look at the world through rose-colored glasses or gaze at the grand spectacle of life through Pollyanna-tinged glasses, spectacles, prosthetic devices. And that is, even Pollyanna fell from a tree and broke her leg. Okay? So, and here's another thing you ought to know too. You ever see Johnny Whitaker in The Littlest Angel? I am master of all I survey. Even little Johnny Whitaker, the littlest angel, even he had to die in order to become the littlest angel. So you can take any wonderful, optimistic viewpoint of the future that you may possibly hold and find one crucial little flaw that's going to make it all go straight plumb to hell. And that's basically what I'm doing up here, and that's my message, if I have a message at all. You know, the other day, I was robbing a bank, and a policeman came up to me and pulled me over, and I said, "Hey, why aren't you out chasing people who are committing minor traffic offenses, officer?" I actually did get stopped by a policeman. I don't have the time to tell you about it now because I'm the wrong hero. None of the names have been changed because no one is innocent, and I don't dwell on my past mistakes because there's plenty of mistakes to dwell on that I intend to commit in the future. I'm the wrong hero, alleged in my own mind. Good night.